Following an invitation from His Highness Sheikh Al-Mubarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, His Excellency the Japanese Premier Shinzo Abe arrived in Kuwait on an official two-day visit, accompanied by a delegation of senior economic leaders and representatives of major Japanese companies. Also present at the meeting were Minister of State for National Assembly and Minister of State for Planning and Development Affairs, Dr. Rola Dashti, several prominent business personnel and members of Kuwait Chamber of Commerce. Our correspondent Sarah Faris Globe was at the Chamber of Commerce with this report.
Kuwaiti-Japanese business meeting held at Kuwait Chamber for Commerce and Industry, or KCCI. His Excellency visiting Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said that Japanese business personnel and companies are eager to be part of Kuwait's ambitious national development plan.
These type of meetings at this level are very general, in the sense that they are more towards establishing channels of communication between the two counterparties. But between Kuwait and Japan in particular, the commercial and political relationship is long-standing and very well established over the years. And there exists for a long time, of course, the Kuwaiti-Japanese Business Council, which is very active and meets here in the Chamber of Commerce on a regular basis. In actual fact, they have an office here. So as far as the Kuwaiti Japanese business activities, shall we say, that is well established, but nonetheless, because of the intense competition that exists in Kuwait, the Japanese activity, and particularly on the engineering and the construction side.
The Japanese Kuwaiti commercial contact is very old. It is before maybe 1955, in the last century. The Japanese were here in this market and they kept on. They were one of the group that did produce oil out of Kuwait, offshore, and then the commercial relation was always Japan as first. Before Korea come, before China come, it was Japan.
Also speaking during the meeting, KCCI's Deputy Chairman Khalid Al-Sagr lauded Abe for his strong economic reforms, revealing that the volume of commercial exchange between Kuwait and Japan had tripled in 2012 to register at $17.2 billion.
Shall we say, that is well established, but nonetheless, because of the intense competition that exists in Kuwait, the Japanese activity, and particularly on the engineering and the construction side, has not developed to the extent that we would like. And one of the objects of these meetings and this visit is to encourage the Japanese participation in the Kuwaiti infrastructure and oil and gas plan, of course, the development plan.
On a separate note, the Japanese Premier thanked Kuwait for aiding his country during the devastating earthquake and tsunami in 2011 and the reconstruction efforts following it, as he called for bolstering ties and finding new fields of cooperation.
Our relation is very good, and the Japanese like the Kuwaitis because Kuwait had helped a lot in the disaster that hit Japan. And that's why he is here, really, on this basis.
For her part, Minister of State for National Assembly Affairs and Minister of State for Planning and Development Affairs, Dr. Rola Dashti, thanked Premier Abe for his sincere sentiments and eagerness to participate in Kuwait's development plan, briefing the delegates on the government's spending budget over the next 5 years, which would amount to around 20 billion Kuwaiti dinars. As part of his 2-day official visit to the state of Kuwait, His Excellency the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe attended this meeting at Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry as part of his packed agenda to exchange expertise and knowledge in various fields, in addition to further cementing and bolstering the friendly and distinctive ties between the two countries that date back to the mid-1950s. From Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry, this is Sarah Gleb reporting for English News.